Hello. For this segment of our Textile Evening School, I will provide a bite-sized focus on careers that relate to the workshop this evening, which is weave. I will start with a snapshot of some of the careers that have developed for our weave alumni from the textile degree course at Huddersfield. Laura Trousdale currently works at Burberry in fabric product development and previously was designer for Vannas, which is a silk specialist mill. Laura has also worked freelance as a visual and market trend researcher, including for Scarlet Opus, who I discussed in a previous recording. Eleanor Cairns is a design coordinator for Tetrat, and in this photo you can see Eleanor with some of the work that she assisted with when she worked at Margot Selby. Hannah Russell is currently a technologist at Cleland McIver and worked at Helly Hansen in Norway in the materials team. Mamouna Rahim has been working as a design assistant at Taylor & Lodge. Finally, I have actually included Kate Russell, who is one of our current placement students rather than an alumni. Kate is currently working at Bower Roebuck, and here you see Kate receiving the award for from the Worshipful Company of Woolmen to help support their placement year financially. I think it's interesting to note that all of the alumni mentioned here actually have worked since graduating in a company linked to their placement. And also two of these companies, I've realised actually their head designers are also Huddersfield Textile alumni. So let's take a look at design roles for weavers. Meet Kimberley and Sophie. Here we see a recent picture of them taken at an event featuring our cultural icons. Both actually work for Sage Automotives, who produce with the cloth we find in our cars, which generally is not quite as colourful as these two. Kimberley is based in the UK and is an accounts manager. This means that she not only designs but oversees the whole process from concept through to production for a specific client. Sophie, with the purple hair, is actually based in South Carolina in the USA and is a surface designer, so opposed to working for one particular client, will often design for multiple directions. This is Nicola Costello, one of our alumni who now works for Chimera Fabrics, which also is a transport specialist fabric manufacturer and produces majority of the fabrics you sit on trains, tubes and buses. They also produce contract fabric, which is the fabric we find in public and workspaces, such as offices, bars, schools and colleges. But it was a company that she worked for previously, which isn't an automotive company, that I wish to focus the remainder of this career's insight. Joshua Ellis is a high-end luxury goods producer of cashmere products. They produce products such as scarves and blankets, but also produce the world-class fabrics found on Savile Row. Once on Savile Row, these fabrics then go on to be made into what are considered to be the best or amongst the best suits in the world. So what might a designer do? Well, it's a complex answer and actually often reflects our core interests when doing our major projects at uni, college, and even school. In education, it is expected that you will engage with a wide range of skills in, say, the development of a cloth from concept and designing through to making and marketing. Within these projects, most students will have an element that they excel in and find greater enjoyment from. For example, pushing the capabilities of particular fibres or yarns, researching and questioning the cultural or environmental impact of their choices, developing and playing with colour, promoting and marketing of the work. And this is where I recognise a connection to what a designer does. Essentially, the design role, as we experience within education, is about a broad understanding and gaining insight into multiple aspects of design. In reality, though, design jobs come in many forms but are all very specialist or focused in a particular field. So, you could be working at Joshua Ellis and be the person who liaises with the client to understand what they want, report on trends and developments that could go into the textiles. You may then be the person, a separate person, who takes this idea and these insights and translates them into a design, which is most often these days done digitally. Um, they, these designers, will then pass this information onto a weaver in the mill who will turn it into cloth. Is it the colour that you love or playing with a range of materials? In this case, you could become a colour and material specialist, much like Amy, who now works for Jaguar Land Rover. You may find yourself using your insight as a textile designer to work in the marketing and promotion of your products, finding yourselves travelling the world, working at trade shows, organising photo shoots, liaising with clients, etc. A lot of mills have a long history and, as a result, have hundreds of years of back catalogues. You may work as an archivist and be responsible for finding designs from the past that merit reworking for a new collection. A lot of contemporary fabrics, for example, sportswear and architectiles, etc., require a lot of technical knowledge. Again, this is another field you could find yourself in as a technologist or even a fabric tester. Our alumni from Weave find themselves leading mills and their products towards environmental and social compliance. They assure and develop the quality of production and even become merchandisers. All of these are completely different jobs, but all with a great connection back to their knowledge and their insight of woven textiles. So, in short, there are so many roles that are encompassed under the umbrella term that is designer, and so many nuances that actually I cannot begin to list them. What we do know at Huddersfield is that our students are not only heavily supported while in education through grants and funding and teaching, of course, from groups such as the Worshipful Company of Weavers or the Woolman, but also as graduates where they're supported further in finding careers that suit their particular interests in this thriving industry. So if you'd like a little further insight into textiles at Huddersfield, want to observe our students' work from a distance on Instagram, or maybe even find out a little bit more about studying textiles at uni, you might find these links useful. Feel free to get in touch with me directly, and if you like, you can also just see what we're all about, really. So I will be covering more of this information and some of these roles in future evening school sessions, or feel free to ask me questions in the actual workshop.